Okay, so I'm going to show you how to belay past a knot in the belay line, and you would do this if you need to join two ropes because one of the belay ropes isn't going to be long enough to reach the bottom, or if you want to isolate like a frayed piece of rope using an alpine butterfly because it can be loaded both ways. So what you want to do is you want to belay your participant until you're roughly 10 centimeters away from the knot. And then just let them know, okay Hannah, we've reached the knot. So the first thing you can do, you can either choose to lock it off using just like a mule lock off, but I usually choose not to do this because with the knot passing through the beaner I find that's quite messy. So I just like to have a firm hand on that rope the whole time. So the first thing you do is you tie a figure 8 on a bight, which will be your catastrophe knot, just so that if anything did happen and you were to let go, your participant would be safe. And then you just clip that in, make sure your beaners are done up, and then using a long prusik or two short prusiks girthed together, you tie a classic just below the ATC. And try to have the prusik knot as close to your prusik knot as you can. And then you get another beaner and you tie a munter into this beaner, and it's really good if you know how to tie a munter with one hand. Makes life a lot easier. And then you finish off by tying mariners, which is just wrapping it around at least 4 times. And then you can thread the end through and put a beaner on it just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And then you've got your once you've loaded your prusik, you've got your 2 points of contact. So you can go hands free and you can move your belay device to the other side of the knot. And make sure that's done up again. And then the next step is to take the beaner off your mariner's knot and making sure you are holding both the tail of the prusik and locking off the belay device. You can start to undo that knot. Make sure you always have a firm hand on the prusik because otherwise your munter hitch will start to release straight away and then your participant may feel a sudden jolt. And then just let your participant know, okay Hannah, I'm going to load you onto the new knot.
Yeah.
You may feel a jolt,
Yeah.
but it should be pretty smooth.
Yeah.
There you go. Load it onto the new one, and then you can just make sure you're holding onto that at all times while you undo your prusik. And get that out of the way. And then your final step is to undo your catastrophe knot. And then you're good to keep belaying on the other side. Okay, belay when ready. Abseil when ready. Done.